The shadow. It's close now. Hello! Welcome everyone. Amnesia, The Dark Descent. There we go. I thought something was missing. Did y'all remember to bring extra shorts today? Gonna be extra scary. I know how your kids like some extra scary. Did I rate that too much? I was messing with the camera a little bit. Looking creepy, Jay. Right back at ya. Hey, Green. Wombat and Rango, first ones in the room. Welcome, Star Voyagers. We're going back into the dark today. I'm already in the dark. Just the IR cam. That's, vanity. That name is Twitch. Looks like I put a wave in my hair. What the hell? Start a new game. I was asked about custom stories the other day. No, we don't have any custom stories installed. I had to look up what the deal was. This game was provided along with tools for player-made campaigns, is what's going on. So there are custom stories out there, some of them very well reviewed. But I haven't played the base game yet. So we're gonna play the base game. Oh, it's making me crazy. A little better. Okay. Start new game. This game is supposed to be poop your pants scary. So I'm not wearing any.
Some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done?
Try the other side. I'm gonna switch sides here.
Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
Hey, Lamia. Come. Does this have motion blur? Can we turn motion blur off? We can turn off. Radial blur? Special kind of blur used during some sequences. That's probably not the motion blur. Well, okay. That may be more blur than I can handle. Games don't generally make me ill, but eye strain is a big fucking deal. Alright, well, we'll see. A memento has been added to the journal. For quick access to your mementos, press M. Or to check these whenever you get stuck. I'm not using a keyboard, I'm playing with a controller. Too many extra clicks. Follow the liquid trail and find its source. What's going on? No diaries are available, no notes are available. What did we just learn during the intro? I didn't quite absorb anything. A memento. We are to follow the liquid trail. Okay, I can jump. Oh, that's a lot of blur. There's got to be a fix for that. When grabbing an object, press the right mouse, or it's actually the right bumper I'm using. If I just let go, it drops. Our name is Daniel. Our name is Daniel. He's called Daniel, and he's from England. Perfect. Yeah, I can rotate the object by holding down the right stick and then using the left stick. But I also have to be holding the bumper, because if I let go of the bumper, it drops. Blood splatter. Right. No tinder boxes left. That's bumper. Way to interact with it, bumper. Guessing we won't see any babies run into walls. No, we might wish for that before long. Crouch. Crouch is a toggle on the B button. Jump is a standard A. Y brings up the menu. Right bumper seems to be our interact. Have any kind of run? Surely we do have a run. Whoa. Surely we do have a run, though. Gotta be a run. This is not the first game where you don't fight, but you hide and run, but it is one of the earlier examples of a game that led to lots of games being made like that. The Penumbra games and then these Amnesia games. Did it just go back into host mode? No, we're still on. I hope so. Let me know if we're having any tech issues. Since I'm watching a preview of the stream, I actually don't see frame drops. We're not switching the screen here. I'm trying to learn the controls.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Green later. Thank you for the host. Watching in the dark is highly recommended. Headphones would also be recommended.
Message
You may
coming in.
have to do something about this motion blur. Although I'm not going to mess with it right now. Misbehave! Thank you for the host as well. As I am often so negligent in my shout-out duties. I'll say it up front. Please keep an eye out for the hosts coming in. Everyone, if you don't recognize the names, click on the names. Check them out. Check out the Twitch profiles. You'll notice that many of the people who host do stream, and many don't. So, if I'm negligent in my duties, there are a lot of great streamers here on Twitch, part of our Entropic family, like Misbehave. I hope you will check them all out and show the J-Love, spread that around, and follow can mean a lot to someone. Tinder boxes are used to light candles and other light sources in the environment. Current number of tinder boxes is shown in the inventory. The little preview of what I might hit is too small for me to tell what button they're telling me to press. I think that's select. Health, all is good. Sanity, crystal clear for the moment. That won't last. Did anybody play Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem on GameCube? Your box is 1. That game had a wonderful sanity mechanic. Very trolly game mechanic. Whereas your character would lose their mind. The game would do things to bring you a little bit closer to losing your mind. I don't know what Amnesia is going to do, but it does have some sort of sanity and insanity. You saw that our mental health was good. I wonder what will happen when it's not. Hey, yo, Densa. That wasn't my breathing. We have nothing, just one tinder box. What, did he just crouch or slide? I didn't do anything there. What just happened? Explain as you would to a child. Did he just get scared and cower in the middle of the room at the wind, or what happened? Seems to be suffering from some visual hallucinations. You just got scared. That's what it was. He got scared. Okay. Big double doors. Blood spatter. Something we can inspect. For the sake of atmosphere, I may try to stop myself from babbling. Which I'm not good at, so. Switch. No, it's just... I just bumped it though, and it opens right back up. So if I close this, and I close this, I just look around. We're not going to open the door, but if I move at all, I just nudge the left stick. Opens right up. Hey there, Bosswick. Howdy doody. I just smacked that into my own head here. Like that. Ow. Ow. Stop doing that to yourself, Daniel. Stop doing that to yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Sorry, if you don't have siblings, that may not make sense. If you have siblings, that makes sense. I don't know that I overdid it on the brightness. Let's take a look together, though, before we get too far in. For the gamma, we want the right square. Oh, it says no longer visible. I am going to turn it down. It is going to get a little darker if we overdo it. Well, we'll get there. So if we go back to a flat gamma, I can actually still see the box here just a little bit. Clearly too high. We could stop there. It almost disappears for me there. I'm just going to see where it completely disappears for me at 0.85. I can't really see a box at all. What does the game look like at 0.85? I'm glad you said that, Wombat. It might be brighter, but I think for atmospherics, we probably needed it a little darker. What do you all think? Better? Not too dark, just rubber. Moodier. If there are candles by a painting, I can see it. I don't know. They're not all going to be as evenly lit. Ow. Why is he leaning to the right? He's leaning like this. Are we a hunchback? Didn't figure out how to throw things. I was trying to. I can click and rotate. I know how to drop it. If I want to throw it. There we go. Left bumper while holding right bumper to throw things. And they said we didn't have weapons. My companion vase. I'll throw it at the first thing that scares me. Or drop it at the first. Place is squeezing. That's fantastic. I'll actually get crushed. It's still going. Me, it's so that entire from the that's too weird to be scary. I'll just throw that out there. When Daniel takes over, I can't control the camera. It gets blurry. He cowers, and the screen swims, and he's clearly afraid. But you know, even if there was something there, I don't think I would see it. It was mushy, blurry, and he was like. Rawr. Scarier just walking. And when it goes all swimmy and I can't control it. There's a difference between being scared in a game that does something, whatever they're gonna do here, I don't know. But when you get scared and your character backs up because you're backtracking, you're on the stick, or you're jumping, or you're turning and running, that's completely different from, I mean, that's almost like a cutscene of your character getting scared. Watch Daniel get scared. No, I gotta get scared. Hey, Daniel, you're trying to scare me. Vision is swimming. His vision is breathing. That crinkling noise was. Leading down. When I loaded the game up yesterday to make sure it loads, there was a message from the developers. A few messages. One of them was about not saving. But don't worry about saving. Play the game. Game will take care of saving for you. Beware when standing in darkness, your sanity will slowly drain. Turn on lights in the environment using tinderboxes or search for other sources of light. Go somewhere where it's lit. Spidey would not like the nausea cam. Now, if I'd realized it was so swimmy, I would have looked before the stream. I'm sure there's got to be a mod to fix that. A few seconds in the dark, your eyes begin to adjust, but your sanity fades. Okay, so if we come over and light something, then we can stay in this room. I'm afraid of that, Wombat, that if there's any reason there won't be a mod, it would be because it's so intentional. It might take away from much of what they do with the game. Maybe things wouldn't look appropriately scary when they happen if they didn't have that effect on. So the rest of the time it... So running. There is running, right? Gotta be running. Is that... Maybe that's a run. Let's see. Bump. Ow. Bump. 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 It's a little faster. It's not much of a run, but left trigger, he kind of picks up the pace. He's also lurching about. Daniel's... I think we're a hunchback. Something very wrong with Daniel. Our breathing is not normal. We're getting the sanity. The door slammed shut behind him, and he knew he would never again see the old tailor at Berkeley Square. Another lone soul in London. Seemed appropriate somehow. No going back? Just no going back to London. Witnessing unsettling events will reduce your sanity. It can be increased by completing puzzles and making progress. Is it possible to just, before I ask a question I don't really want an answer to, what if I want to lose my mind? What about that game? If I'm here to lose my mind, and sanity is the last thing I'm looking for. Is sanity really required to complete the game? The game is encouraging us to manage our sanity. We picked up the lantern. When filled with oil, it can be turned on by pressing X. Selecting it in the inventory. If insanity ends the game, then we'll have to manage it. If insanity makes it too difficult to complete, we may have to manage it. Otherwise... Otherwise... Crazy? Don't mind if I do! Hey, Quad. Open! 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 It's not gonna open. Maybe we need a key. Or a sledgehammer. Oh yeah, don't worry. If the game doesn't cause me to lose my mind, I can do it all by myself. Did you just grab that with your bare hands, man? We are definitely a monster. It's at least second-degree burns. The floor is lava! The floor is lava! I've lost it, sorry. Those ghostly... Those apparitions, or... lighting effects without anisotropic filtering. I can't tell. Uncheck radio blur, or even sanity effects, but they kind of add quite a bit to the game. Yeah, that's what he suspected. And I saw, thank you for looking that up. I saw the radio blur option. The way it described it as part of the sanity effects is why I left it. I was hoping there was a separate general motion blur. There's something off in the dark.
19th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
Your former self. Note to self. Before I drink this drink. Lantern drains oil when it's turned on to add more... Yeah. Not turned on. Now it's turned on. When I briefly lit up the room, I saw this lever. Getting used to what I can interact with, the world of physics. Yeah, it's just, I bet a lot of people would love to have a drink that helps them forget from time to time. those like hissing roaches? Chomped him, Jay. A fragrant taste of rose lingered in his mouth. The rest was down. So it's not very fast. The running is not very fast. Can we kind of vault over things while running?
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
Throw all this computing power at our games. The difference between something, an engine, for example, that's efficient, a variety of hardware versus that's not. I'm a little surprised because the game's old enough there really aren't any fancy effects, and yet in certain areas like this room, there's a fair bit of chop. It seems to have smoothed itself out. It's certainly not for lack of resources. It's always interesting when an older game stumbles on modern hardware to think about what's going on there. Give me a physics engine where I can pick up and toss things, I am going to do it. Not that Dragon's Dogma was my finest moment, but hey, they gave me the ability to pick up my party members and toss them, so I did it at every opportunity. But so. Quite sure what just changed. Were we denied entry? Something glommed onto the door. Not sure this window was boarded shut just a moment ago. Maybe it was. Those are the boxes I threw. Same hallway. We're supposed to... primary goal is to get to the inner sanctum and kill someone. Kill someone who we told ourselves to kill. Laboratory. We should probably be trying to learn some of the layout here. Do we have a map? What am I blocking in the lower right corner? The journal's in the lower right corner. Okay. Just need to know down there. Oil, tinder boxes. Health. Sanity, a slight headache. You know, Daniel, most people don't hallucinate when they have a slight headache. I'd say your sanity is not that good. It is not that good. Let's call this the main hall. I don't know what the game called it. This big shaft of light coming through a hole in the ceiling. Laboratory. Down these stairs and to the right. Probably won't remember it. And other things that I'll try to remember, they won't stick. Not yet. Wine cellar is locked. It will not open without a key. Check the laboratory then. Laboratorium. Traveling to Dover meant going through Canterbury. He made sure to pay a visit to avoid the sense of guilt connected with neglect of family. You need to pay attention on load screens. They seem to have story context on loading screens, so. It's dark, his sanity is probably going down. It's gonna be a real ringer. Here's heart thumping. You can see a bit of a visual start to swim more. Light a torch so we can stand here and look around a bit without losing our minds. I didn't see anyone answer. Nobody played Eternal Darkness. I don't have a GameCube anymore, but I still have my copy of Eternal Darkness. Or a copy, actually. If I remember, I kept it. When I got rid of my GameCube, I kept some games. But now that I think about it, I had to go get a used copy of Eternal Darkness a couple years later when I decided I wanted to have kept mine, and I hadn't.
Kept you waiting, huh?
I am the one who spookies.
There should be more coop racks. Let me see. And one part Aquafortis.
How you doing, Tyler? Welcome to the one who spookies. Early alchemy experiment. This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. Vitae. You pronounce that. The former compounds lack the potency I need, but I sense I am close. Calamine and orpiment are a given, and the cuprite bends them well. This time I will attempt aqua regia instead of aqua fortis in hope it will produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acid and proves impractical to put to any use except as a detergent. Organic tissue reacts especially violently to the solution and should be handled with the greatest care. I might be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope that I will find an alchemic solution to my predicament. Second page, was there? Arrow at the bottom, but arrowing down didn't. Okay. Hello. After just having played Layers of Fear and still kind of like to pretend that DLC wasn't a thing and we just played the main game, but I digress. After just having played that, its mechanics are so familiar, and yet this predates those mechanics came from. This series of games, right? One day I will return. If it wasn't for the thought of you, my love, I wouldn't be able to go on. When I find myself doing terrible things, I take comfort in you. As long as I'm able to think of you and long for a life together, I know I'm better than the others. I weep for them. They lust for power without restraint, where I only crave fair judgment and a safe return. Others. Others. Oh, I hope it does for you, man. Tyler. That's only an interaction. Can't pick it up. There's nothing on top of it. We push bookshelves. Chemical relocation. The lack of a chimney to properly vent the fumes from my most recent experiments has taken its toll on many of my less stable ingredients in storage. Some seem unaffected, but many are stained by the fumes and will be difficult to salvage. I shall do what I can and move them to the wine cellar. I opened it. These are begging to be opened. So our sanity is probably still just a slight headache. Wait. No. Say it ain't so. Game. Don't know yet. Blurry, deliberately motion blurred. The other children cheered him on, his name voiced in a steadily rising pace. I really need to move on those more quickly. They look worth reading. Maybe it's the Twitch dynamic, but many of you have seen me get the shit scared out of me here by any number of games, and I honestly, so far, this is not yet scary. Not yet. Sanity effects are... I don't want to offer a critique now, so I'm sorry. We'll just play, but it's not scary yet. Tough and pliant. It can't be torn by hand or tools. Yeah, Wombat. Previous exposure to scary games would definitely have something to do with it, and this type of can't fight, run and hide game has become a lot more commonplace since this was made than it was at the time. Fell to the kitchen floor. Tears were beginning to well in his eyes as he received the first kick in his stomach. Hazel remained hidden in fear that she was almost fast enough. I don't want to speed read him. I just want to read him. I can lean? No, I could lean. They may
Message
have
coming
told me.
in. Patching it through.
KG, thank you, host. Welcome. Why am I here? I forgot. Amnesia, right? Right? Is that why we're here? Who am I? Who are all you people? Why are you in my bedroom?
May 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig until dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
At least you can see the stream. Let me was having issues with Twitch. The web. As yet unresolved. Alright, Green Leader. You're off to lunch. Have a good lunch. We've got hissing roaches, which would really be creepy if they were, if I had to deal with them. I don't know how I would handle hissing roaches. Anybody ever a fan of the CSI shows? Used to watch the Vegas one, the original one, CSI Vegas. And their lead guy, he was a bug guy. So I'm not a bug guy, but after years of watching that show, including liked his roaches, raced roaches a couple times. Gil Grissom, he's one of my fictional heroes. Oddly enough, I have more fictional heroes than I do real world heroes. I don't know if that's commentary on the state of the world or not, but Gil Grissom's one of my fictional heroes. Dale Cooper and Adama, Battlestar Galactica, a few others. Anyways, I digress. Willem's, let's say Willem? Willem's contract. I hereby offer my full attention and services to Alexander, Baron of Brennenburg. This contract will reign for a total of 3 years, when my freedom shall return to me. In addition, Alexander, Baron of Brennenburg, is to recommend my services at the Prussian Royal Court and within the sanctum of the Order of the Black Eagle. May no man break this seal. Willem, House of Gerich. Going back to the layers of fear, my thoughts playing this game, thoughts about layers of fear while playing this, and how similar they are. I didn't know while playing Layers of Fear that it had almost the exact same drawer and door and investigation mechanics that this game had. But I can tell you that Layers of Fear is one of my favorite horror games. We just played it a few weeks ago. The main game, not the DLC. And this game would be hard-pressed to do a number on me like Layers of Fear did. But good luck.
"17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
You got too freaked out? Oh. Hey there, shoot Jimbo. He's got bugs in his head. Those noises are... I'm sure they're supposed to be really unnerving, but they're... Music, thank you. Use some music.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
There. Thank you for the host. That was cool. Right as your host was coming in, Claire, the corner of this room kind of lit up with a bluish light. Felt like the host was lighting up the room in the game. That was cool. Best effect yet. I like that blue light, though. I have not really been keeping track of the names of the areas we're going into. That could be a problem. Clean up your room. So we were in here. We were in here. Came from there, we went through there. There, into the Libri Veteris. So sanity, when it decreases, can be restored by progressing in the game or solving puzzles. We haven't found any puzzles yet. Head is pounding and hands are shaking. We're starting to lose it because I don't pull out the lantern, and when we're in the dark, we're slowly losing sanity. Historia Loci. I'll be going back into rooms that I've been in and opening drawers I've already opened. I think there's going to be a lot of that because so far it's too indistinct. One room doesn't look that different from another room to me yet. And the desks and the things on or near the desks don't look very different, so I'm not sure if I'm in a room I've been in. Play some Tchaikovsky. Great idea. Okay, run. This is locked. Came in here and I went the other way. What's down this way? Sorry, it's just my stomach. Cat has hairballs. Floor plans. We decided we needed a translation on that one. I don't think all the others.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the walls. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
East Wing, Western Hall. Those maps might be accurate, but they're small and I can't take them with me, so they're not going to be very useful. Playing the piano? Let's play, let's play. I want to play. They're shelling us! Take cover! Kingdom of Prussia. Central Prussia. Or hairballs.
May 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light.
Come into the light. All are welcome.
It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
Horror games love their Lovecraft. Very good reason. The audio effects so far feel overdone. Sort of like the visual effects where everything's swimming to make things creepier. It's not just a voice, it's a voice with echo and reverb and other well, there's too many noises, and then we've got the crickling, crackling, and then the hissing roaches. Whatever that static is in the background. It actually the mood is lost in the chaos. Sound of some wings flapping is indistinct because it's mixed with the sound of static and far off hissing and water dripping and then reverb and echo. And so that bug that in silence might have me looking around for the bug. Where's the I just quiet down. Shh. It's constant static. And it's not like Silent Hill. There are monsters nearby. It's just a persistent noise level with effects piled on top of it, crackling in my head and the bugs on the ground. So it's not scary. It's disorienting. kind of a strain to make out individual sounds when there's too many at once, just like it's a strain to make out what's going on when it's too blurry. So we had a cave-in, something. Fragile, but not breakable by hand. Well, I'll throw a chair at it. What can I pick up? Not breakable by hand. Rango! And we have the sound of bits. I like your bits, Rango. Thank you. Woo! It worked. Disorienting is accurate. Whether it creeped me out, when it creeped me out, is because of all those disorienting things. Nothing really scary actually happened. Yeah, Wombat. I think it's too early for me to be saying many of the things I'm saying as a judgment upon the game, but that's my experience so far is more disorientation than any kind of fear or discomfort.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Draft and a faint light are coming from behind the shelf. There must be a way in. I was wondering before if we could push any bookshelves. And somehow we'll be able to move this bookshelf. That's just a book. I can't grab it here or just walk into it. I'm gonna adjust the camera. I don't know if you noticed I'm really low in the camera, because I thought I was too high before and I adjusted something. Camera's gonna move a little bit here, just bear with me. Sorted. Okay. Okay. Now. In the ballpark, that should be a little better. This is a new angle. It's not that different. I just, when I leaned forward, I was falling off the bottom. And I'm, gonna lean forward sometime. Book looks different. More than one special book. Smash that open. Yes, let's do that. Thank you. Are you gonna read it or should I? Altstadt and Brennenburg Castle, 1801. Another region rich with lore is Altstadt, deep within the East Prussian woods. For centuries there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbor, Castle Brennenburg. The quiet forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lakes is as picturesque as can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. Ask any local and you will hear proof of the widespread superstition. All travelers should indulge themselves in such conversation, since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists on the tales, but there are some motifs that keep reappearing. The Gatherers. This story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that soldiers who abandoned their duty got lost in the cold, dark woods and were forever damned to roam the grounds. Their bodies, wrought by their tainted souls, have left them disfigured and empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years and described them as horrid revenants. They move silently through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called gatherers, as they seem to follow some ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey which can be heard struggling inside damp burlap sacks dragged behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme do they follow? You think of Bloodborne's Bagmen. A visit undone. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, a well-known erudite, visited Altstadt at the start of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight as he looked for remnants of kingdoms past. During his stay, all the prominent members of society paid notice, and he is mentioned in many records of the time. One day, he went to investigate a burrow in the northwestern glades, only to never be seen again. Heinrich is known to have passed away in Grenoble some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of ever visiting Altstadt, which makes you wonder what really happened. Who was this mysterious man who visited the sleepy hamlet in the woods, and what happened to him? Immortal Baron. The Baron of Brennenburg lives a reclusive life with his family and his castle nearby Altstadt, and like most those of noble birth, rumors are inherited alongside with the title. To see you, it has been a while. Welcome back. Researching the history reveals little before the castle was consumed by fire in the late 16th century. It was rebuilt by Alexander, a nobleman from the Rhinelands, claiming the role as protector of the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region to flourish and remained popular throughout his presumed lifetime. Family has always been secretive when it comes to lineage and heritage, therefore the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring has never been fully recorded. This has fed the idea that the Baron is in fact the one and the same who came from the west over 300 years ago, lived through the time of occupation, and joined the coveted Order of the Black Eagle along with the great leaders of this country. Is it? Is it now? Well, happy flippin' birthday. Happy birthday, Darth. Doing anything for the day? Hey, there's another book. 1, 2, 3. I can't touch that one anymore. Those two are seemingly locked in place now. Let's start over. Maybe there's an order to them. Originally, I grabbed this one, and I was able to grab 2 books and pull them out. There we go. 1. 2. The only other one I've noticed. There might be another, but... Come on. Come on. Nothing. 3. Did the order matter? Was it just the grabbiness of them? I don't know. Door open. Did that reset our sanity? It did help it. Slight headache. Our sanity has improved a little bit. There's a key on the table. Regarding closing of the wine cellar. And his fools have endangered my research long enough with their absent-minded handling of the human vessels. The sheriff is keeping a watchful eye on the forest and is killing my trusty servants. Just a matter of time until they follow the trail to Brennenburg. I need to lock Wilhelm and his men up to avoid further investigation from the public. The wine cellar will therefore be sealed off until the matter has been handled. Either the king's men leave or they will starve, whatever comes first. They can rot for all I care. Maybe I will feed them some wine. It would, in a sense, solve both of my problems. You played this some time ago, Darth? First time for me. I'm playing my horror games all out of order. There it is, it's 2017. I played first Resident Evil for the first time, and Silent Hill 2 we played was fantastic. But, I don't know what my point really was other than that this style of game, I've played some newer ones like Outlast, and Layers of Fear, and now I'm going back to some of the games that the genre was born of. I've been recently scared by games of this type, and I'm waiting for this game to scare me. So I think the genre has come a long way. You have a key. What did we get a key to? Wine cellar. Key to the wine cellar. Cave-in was? Where was the cave-in was back? I haven't learned my way around yet. Catch a glimpse of something going through this door? Too blurry to tell. My stomach. Promise I'll snack during the break. Open? I think that's what happened with the books. Maybe the order of pulling the books didn't matter. But I was unable to pull one of the books off the shelf and... Put in a circle here. Budge. Really? Door opened before. Full of sand trickled from the crumbling stone ceiling and pushed down on the brim of his hat. He braced himself as the cavern suddenly shifted and settled. I can't be sure, but I think all that crap on the wall and ceiling just came out of my skull. Like... what it felt like. I think those are my brains on the wall. Ah! All is good. Her head is pounding and hands are shaking. Precisely. See, you understand. Wombat, I think I'm getting injured going over this stuff. Let's go over it a couple more times to make sure. Precisely. Wasn't the wine cellar, right? What was this? Refinery. It was locked. Old archives. Okay, won't budge. When we get to the break, I'm gonna find a book of a better height. I feel like I'm going off the top of the camera. Gotta be a happy middle. That was the laboratory. Wine cellar. Use the key on the door to The stone slab looked like a safety measure. It wasn't meant to be moved ever again. Beware, when standing in darkness, your sanity will slowly drain. Turn on the lights using tinder boxes or search for other sources of light.
Where did the Baron
Hey,
go?
Maka.
Who cares? He left us enough wine to last us a lifetime. Or at least until tomorrow.
Playing on PC, Darth. Maka, how you been? Wanna waste lantern oil. And I can light up here. Didn't say locked, but these doors have just enough give. If an enemy is near, seen one yet, stay out of sight, hide in the darkness, make sure to turn off your lantern. Right. If possible. Heard what probably enemies. There we go. First sighting. We hide in the darkness here. It's a great hiding spot. John. Sanity is now dangerously low. Make sure to stay in the light and try to make progress. Game has not said what happens if our sanity gets too low. Die. What are we attempting to do here? Evidence in the lab revealed combining 4 chemicals can create a powerful acid. Chemical ingredients have been moved to the wine cellar. So we're probably looking for some or all of those chemical ingredients here in the wine cellar. No, I haven't. RuneScape, I have not played. Of organic tissue can be dissolved. So we're gonna try and make an acid to break down those barriers in the hall, the organic barriers. Run out of oil. Well, we have oil. We would just have to. Chemistry pot to contain the mixture. Laudanum, medical bracer, improve health, help heal wounds. Jar of orpiment. So I think that might have been one of the chemicals. Just pick up a different one. Check out each bottle on the ground. Hopefully not. Go a bit more carefully through each room. Found hopefully one of the chemicals in that last room.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
80 Gray. Thank you for the host. Hurry. Good, man. I'm good. Working on learning this game. New Wolfenstein. Feel more difficult to you? Hadn't heard anything about its difficulty. Right. Cave in. We're not in a cave. Barrel contains a few drops of oil. Fill our lantern with it, or we... that? Wait up this way. Refilled the lantern with a few drops of oil. Can't go back out that way we came in. Right. Darth, I don't believe so. Come deliverance. What do I need to know? smash our way through somewhere. Where are we gonna smash our way through? Bang! Bang! That's, wow, too heavy. Smaller one. Pick one of those up. Ah, too heavy. Still too heavy. Is it a brick? Throw a brick. Come on, let your eyes adjust. Didn't work very well. How about a barrel? How about a table? I have an axe. Give it an extra push. Oh, you can, so. The extra push, because it's talking about the keyboard commands, and they do that a lot. They show a symbol that you cannot make out, or the gamepad equivalent. If we need to break this with one of these, I need to figure out what that extra push is. This is not working. Push, push, extra push. Any ideas? I feel like the cocoons. Pull the wood away from the door. Pull the wood away from the door. I'll try. Also, just a friendly reminder for everyone, since this is effectively a blind playthrough, even if I do ask for, you know, suggestions or something, the door you entered, okay? That looks safe. I wouldn't touch the wood in front of that door. Ah. But, if I do reach out and ask for suggestions, what I'm really looking for is people are just guessing, and you know, anyone's welcome. It's really a blind playthrough, so I won't be asking for many tips. Mostly, don't want any suggestions, but I may ask for thoughts that people have. You might be right. We might be able to free the door. Somehow. Strange. We need to remove the rocks first, yeah. I can't lift another rock, say to knock this one. So that Kingdom Come, new RPG, historical medieval, first person. Not fantasy. February. Forests. Oh, beautiful forest. Okay, playing with the physics engine. We'll get it. It's just. Okay, fine. That's totally fine. Pulling the wood now. It wouldn't let me pull the wood. I had to knock the wood with something heavy. Maybe I'll be able to pull the wood eventually. Nope, it's trying to pull it. I guess they're trying to show off the physics, but it's really hard not to make jokes about pulling wood. What's stopping ya?
This shouldn't be.
Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. So fucking proud of your physics, you had to do this. We're still short one, aren't we? 3 ingredients out of 4. If we can combine the existing ones. I want to see what's on the other side.
What's happening? Oh, it feels like my chest is going to burst.
My God! Wilhelm, do something!
Except that we're not getting out of here.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of shit! Let us out of here!
Idiot. Aqua Regia. Wilhelm's last words. We know what his last word was. My name is Wilhelm, House of Garrick. These are my final words, my confession, and testament. 2 years ago, I was summoned to the castle Brennenburg. As most of the aristocracy, I was curious about what this supposed knight of the order would want from me and accepted the invitation. The Baron was friendly and offered me a proposition. It dawned on me that the nature of the contract was sordid and that the reason I was chosen was because of the follies of my past and not the honors I've been rewarded during my time as a soldier. I was to kidnap healthy humans upon his slightest whim and do so without asking questions. In return, he would attest to my character at the royal court, advancing my position within noble society. I would like to claim that I struggled with my decision, but it came swiftly, and I accepted wholeheartedly. Ever since that day, I've brought men, women, and children to Brennenburg. I can't remember the numbers, but there were many, perhaps even 100, none of whom were ever seen or heard from again. Tonight, the Baron invited me and my men down to the wine cellar to celebrate our work. I had my suspicions as we descended the stairs, but he insisted and joined us in a toast. The wine tasted fine, and my men drank without restraint. So begins the punishment for our sins. The Baron has locked us up and returned upstairs. Forgive me for what I have done. I was weak and fell into his diabolic ways. My men are screaming. Their skin has been pierced by their own tangled bones. I feel my insides revolt against their God-given nature. Blood has begun to pour from my eyes, and I can no longer. Well, Back to the lab with the ingredients. Back to the lab. Main hall, left side. Take a right. I don't know how to get back to the main hall, but if we can get back to the main hall, I think I know where the lab is. Been hearing footsteps that seem to be on the floor above us. So now we're going up to where the footsteps are. Became impossible to avoid. The commotion in the streets begged for his attention. As he opened the shutters, the French soldiers opened fire on the two young men fighting back. Their voices were silenced in a haze of gun smoke. Right? Sure. It's the lab. So I guess we gotta walk through more of it. The wound is bleeding quite badly. You have one laudanum. Yeah, let's just bleed. He sat down by the Casbah wall, gasping for air. Sweat poured from his forehead and into the sand. Let me see, Darth. Right, you haven't been here in a while. Let me see if I got the numbers right. Bad. Time, since we turned the currency on, Stardust, one-time dump of Stardust from ship stores, based on hours. Since you accumulate it based on hours, we're doing a one-time credit for back hours. The simplest way to acknowledge that it's been off for so long. Is the Stardust new, kinda, yeah? We don't have a lot of things that you'd spend it on yet. Some of the sound effects cost Stardust and little mini game. Wormhole. It's been turned back on if you remember the wormhole. Not exactly, no. They turned on a new program, an affiliate program, earlier this year, so non-partners can have some of the benefits that partners get. And they added subscriptions for affiliates. So it's a different tier than Twitch partner, but it's been made available to many more streamers, which is a really good thing. Four different chemicals are needed to continue. Have to put them in order. Let's check the journal. Maybe the order doesn't matter, but calamine, orpiment, aqua regia, calamine, orpiment, cuprite, aqua regia. Put it in the second one, so they must be going where they're supposed to go. I didn't pick that second slot. Oh, I didn't. PG Cray, I'm glad you made it through. Didn't even hop on the shuttle. More makes more. Excuse me. Of acid. The refinery. So if we're trying to get to the refinery, which is the main, it's down the stairs in the center of the hall. Want to take our first break? We're 2 hours into the stream. Few cuts and bruises. I never used the laudanum, but somehow we've healed up a bit. We were bleeding badly when we were going into the lab, but now we are merely suffering from a few cuts and bruises and a slight headache. I'm gonna go get a few minutes of light therapy since I'm sitting here in the dark. Try and find something to put the camera on that is not this tall, but is more like this tall, and it's not as short as the book I've got it on. Lean off the frame. I'll see you back here in a few. Stay tuned.